In. Let's see.
All right, we are live, Becca. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Becca is one of my favorite people, first off. Excited to jump into team building and just setting yourself up for success when it comes to team, right? Becca, which is the key to growing, right? Your business and growing yourself. So thanks for being here today, Becca.
You froze there for a second.
Oh, okay. I said, thanks for being here today.
Sorry about that.
That's
yes,
okay.
I'm so glad to be here today. I hope we're going to have a pretty fun session and webinar. I see there's some other attendees in here. That's amazing.
Yeah. We have what we're going to do, everyone, is I'm going to share a couple of slides about Invest Her, just so you know how you can get plugged into our ongoing community. Then I'm going to give the floor to Miss Becca to talk about our such an important topic, like I was saying, when it comes to teams. But one of the things I love about our community, and we're just about at our 6-year anniversary. We've had our podcast for 6 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I posted 6 years ago, just a day ago, saying, me and my friend Andressa are launching a podcast. Not sure if anyone's going to listen to it, but we're really passionate about serving women. So here we are 6 years later, 400 plus episodes later.
Built an empire.
We're never been more committed. And we believe that women have the birthright to become financially free. And that's what we stand on every single day. And that's why we do what we do. So it's not a flippant thing. It's a big deal. And we stand on that. So welcome to today's webinar. And everything comes from that belief that you do have the birthright. You have every right for financial freedom on your own terms. So that's what we stand for. I'd love to hear in the chat box where everyone's calling in or coming in from. We don't take your time lightly. I'm not recorded. Becca's not recorded. Her and I have a lot of entrepreneurial things happening in our world, but we make this a very important twice a month sessions where we bring on the best of the best. And I'd love to hear where everyone's coming in from, because we want to make sure your time is well spent today. And Hawaii, Anastasia, I don't feel bad for you. I am in the Northeast and it is bitter cold out. So we got to have InvestorCon at some point by you. Florida, hey, Shanda. And if you're new, just put new in the box, because I want to have a special welcome to you. I'd love to hear. Ooh, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
Ooh, Burr.
Burr. Hey, Paige, thanks for being here. Excited to have you here. SL. Very cool. New from Austin. Well, Claudia, you better be joining us for InvestorCon. Just saying, we're going to be in Austin this year, June 2nd to 4th. Very cool.
No excuses. Right. No excuses there.
No excuses. No excuses. All right, I'm going to share my screen and then we'll get rocking and rolling. But, Kim, you're from New Jersey. I love Jersey because I'm from Jersey, and I don't say New Jersey. I say Jersey. But anyway, all right, let's get going here. A little bit about our community. For those who are new or have been with us, right? We have a free Facebook community. We started this with me, Andressa, and 10 of our friends. Literally, we just said we want to create a safe space for women to give and to get support. Very simple with that mission. So that is what the Facebook group is all about. Our meetups have also been around for probably about 3 or 4 years now. And that's also a local, we have 50 plus meetups, local way for women to get connected to the women in their community, if you will. So definitely check those out. We're growing those. We just hired a new team member to really take our meetups to a new level. We're really, really excited about. So check that out. That's on our website where our meetups are located. We also have an EXP team, which is a really exciting group of realtors, women real estate agents who are also looking to invest. So that's what that's all about. And just stay connected to our free webinars. We have those twice a month, and we have those ongoing. And again, if you have topics, ideas, put them in the chat box. We're here to serve you. That's the goal. So any ideas, we're always open to. And for those who don't know, been living under a rock, you better be coming with us to June 2nd to 4th, Austin, Texas. We're about to share some other speakers we have coming. We're really excited about, but that is our annual event. We have 500 women expected to be there in June, about 40 companies coming. And that's all about the theme this year, which I love, is going all in. Women are controlling more wealth than ever, and I'm really glad about that. But it's also, how do you feel comfortable and confident to make investment decisions. And that's what the conference is going to be all about. So powerful couple of days. Come play with us. And then the last thing for those who are always asking us, like, Liz, Andressa, you do all these free things. You do all this, you give all this free content away. You know, what are you doing on the other side in terms of your own community? What do you have to offer? What do you have? And so we put together this very powerful mentorship program, and it's for women who are doing 5 to 10 deals or more, and they're just tired of doing things alone. So we actually have it's an application only process. We also have a few of our team members who have like strategic calls with women who have those deals and they just feel stuck, whether you join us or whether you apply, no strings attached. It's really there to be a resource for women growing their portfolios, or have other entrepreneurial businesses happening and they really want to go all in on investing. So just encourage you to check that out. It also comes with InvestorCon free tickets. So that's always good. All right.
Dang,
Couple of
look at
housekeeping.
all those goodies.
All
Come
these
on,
goodies,
people.
a lot of
That is
goodies.
good stuff.
Very good stuff. And it's very holistic. It's a mentorship. I don't want to go too on and on, but it really was created out of the need of something that Andressa and I wish we had when we started. And I struggled for many years investing. I've been at this for 17 years. And I wish I had mentors to tap into in a very focused way so I could have saved my time and my money. And that's really where this was born out of and what we have going on. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to stop talking, which is always hard for me. But I want to introduce you to Becca. Becca is, I've known Becca for many years now. She's been a resource on so many different levels. We've shared wins together. We've shared frustrations together. And as she's developed different businesses and have different expertises, I'm always all ears, because if she's involved in something, I want to know it and we want to, highlight it. And when we've been talking about my shared passion of team building, and I don't know about you, but put in the chat box, as you're scaling and growing your portfolio, or even just stabilizing your portfolio, which so many women are doing right now, right? They may not buy that next deal. They're just trying to maximize the efficiency of their current portfolio. Hiring that next, whether it's a VA or you're buying someone's hours, right? 2 hours a week, or you're bringing on somebody on your team full time, all across the board. It's probably one of the hardest, but most important things to do. So I speak a lot about it because I have a shared passion like Becca and on an assessment tool. And so does Becca. So our conversations always kind of come back to what's the person's personality. So I don't want to speak too longly about it. I'd love to give the floor to Becca. I'm going to give time at the end, Becca, for questions and answers. And this is a really important topic. So we have an expert with us. Well, actually 2, but really a real expert is Becca. And I'm someone who came
You're
from
a fake expert, but you have tons of expertise. So,
but I really want to make sure we have time, because I would love to hear, if women have some questions and actually some real life scenarios, how this material can be applying to them would be the goal. So please put those in the Q&A box. Don't put them in the chat box, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, Miss Becca, you have the floor.
Thanks, Liz. I'm excited to be here. Ladies, I am excited to spend the afternoon with you. This great turnout. I prefer some interactive presentations, so I'm going to be asking you to throw some stuff in the chat and interact with me, and save your questions for the end. I promise we will make space for them for sure. But I think both Liz and I have a huge passion for leadership, and we know that the only way to build successful businesses is with the right people at our side. And so today, my goal for you, I always like to leave conversations with leaving people 1% better, 1% better than I found them. So if you get one actionable takeaway from this conversation today about how to better lead, manage, engage, and put the right people on your team, then I'll consider this a huge, huge win. And I'm going to try and do some fancy stuff here. Let me share my slides. Liz, I don't know if you know this secret, but
I don't. And also, please know I'm here to support you. I'm just.
I figured you were.
Okay. What's the secret? What's the secret?
Putting the slides up in the background.
Yes.
And then putting me in front of it. Yes.
Oh, I don't know that, but we'll work on that. I want to know the secret later.
Right. It's amazing. Okay. So we're going to talk today about strategies to build the team you can rely on. And I'm going to give you one very tactical piece of this, what Liz mentioned before, behavioral analytics tool. If you want to take the survey, There's a QR code right there. It takes about 10 minutes. You don't have to take it now. You can always reach out to me later if you're like, I want to dig in more to it. Also, it's very similar to the predictive index, which Liz mentioned. So what I do is we use this 10-minute survey to figure out, I go in and I work with teams. I'm an executive advisor, and I teach them, number one, how do they show up? What's their superpower, right? What do they bring to the business that's going to make it successful? How does their team show up? And then how can we leverage this data to get more return on investment? Because at the end of the day, and Liz mentioned it about stabilizing your portfolio and whatnot, the purpose of a business is to make money. So if at the end of the day you're not making money, then the business is not healthy. And so we want to leverage all of the knowledge that we gain and the tools that we have at our disposal to run healthy businesses that make money. What you do with that money, I know a lot of people, I've been a part of amazing groups like this one. You'll see my posts in the investor community, who are really driven by more than just money, but at its core, in order to be able to do the other things in life that we want to do, we do have to make some money. So today I've got 3 goals for you. The first, I want you to understand how you show up. When you come into a meeting, when you come into a project, when you come into your business, how do you show up? What's your main motivation? I want you to understand that there are 3 main motivations for people. So chances are when you show up, 2%, only 2/3 of the room is not going to work like you work. And they're not going to get things done like you get done. And that's okay. Because if you could do all the stuff, you would do it. You need to hire people to complement you. And then the third thing is, I want you to know who those people are to complement you and what they're going to do. So we'll dig into this. A little bit about myself. Somebody once told me that you don't pay attention unless you know the person. So, hey, Laura, how you doing? So a little bit about my background. I went to school for mechanical engineering on a military scholarship through ROTC, got commissioned as an officer in the Navy, and I then spent 4 years serving in the Navy. And if you think that that it's hard to lead your contractors and your team, imagine leading an organization that is 90% 18-year-old boys, okay? So the military has been very good at, through the years, training up their leaderships. Leadership is a learned skill. Thank you for the emojis. I appreciate it. You can light up the screen with the emojis. That makes me happy. So leadership is a learned skill, and the military really does a good job of putting a framework around that and teaching you some of the skills that you need. So that really got me my first taste of this drive to be an exceptional leader. After I got out of the military, I spent 6 years as a mechanical engineer working for a company called Noresco. They do energy efficiency projects. I spent a lot of time in rooms just like this. This is a boiler room, a commercial grade boiler room. And these will heat entire campuses. I did a lot of work on federal projects, organizing teams. I mean, my last project was $100 and some million project, organizing teams across 4 states and 8 different sites to get a construction project done, right? And that taught me, whereas the military taught me the fundamentals of leadership and people, this taught me to use data and analytics to look into the underside of what's happening and to not just go tweaking dials unless you understand what is happening behind the scenes. And then finally, I loved my energy efficiency work, but I was traveling all the time, and I am a huge family person. And so back when my youngest daughter was born, she's 10 now, I decided I was going to flip a house. Just like you guys, we all have our catalyst moments, right? Mine was, I was sitting in a meeting and I had been promoted up through kind of the executive ranks. And I got to go out to dinner with 14 different CEOs in different business units within Carrier North America. And at the end of it, they asked me a question and they said, hey, you've been really quiet, which is unlike me. They said, you've been really quiet. What questions do you have? And I said, I have a question. I hope it's not too forward, but I'm curious how many of you are still married to the same people that you were married to when you started this journey? And in that room of 14 people, only one said, I am. And so that really crystallized, got me crystal clear on where I wanted this journey to take me. And I wanted to be home with my kids and I wanted to raise them because my motivation, aside from winning and drive and intensity and future goals, my motivation is also to build strong relationships. And I want my family to be part of those strong relationships. So I started flipping houses. That's a picture of a house for anybody that's local to Pennsylvania, which is where I live, I'm an hour outside of Philadelphia. That's in Phoenixville. One of my favorite houses, where you can pick up some extra square footage by enclosing an exterior room and putting some heat in it, right? That house made me a lot of money. I rehabbed over 60 deals. I've wholesaled over 120. I am in some apartment syndications. I have a small portfolio of single family rentals. So I understand the world that you're coming from. And I have spent many years working with investors, helping kind of guide them along to know what your gifts are and how we can improve your business by leveraging those gifts. The things that I work with in my clients, so right now I work specifically with Culture Index as an executive advisor. I work with businesses local to the Philadelphia area who are making sure they have the right people in the right seats to hit their future goals. And we leverage these data analytics to do it. And what I often find in my conversations with CEOs is hiring the right talent is only half the battle. If you hire a 10 out of 10 employee and you don't know how to lead them well, if you're only at the level where you can lead a 5 out of 10 employee, then we need to work on how do we up your leadership skills. And like I said before, leadership is a learned skill. And so I spend a lot of time digging into, hey, here's where you're coming from. Here's what motivates you. Here's what motivates that person. Here's how we better lead and manage them. Okay. All right. I would like to hear in the chats, tell me a little bit more about, you guys know now all about me. I'd love to hear, what is your focus in your businesses? Are we real estate? Are we in multifamily syndications? Are we in commercial investing? Are we not even in real estate and we just saw a message about this and decided to pop on? Single family, awesome. What else do we got in here? What are you guys doing? Small value add multifamily. Okay, I like that. Large or small multifamily? Talking like 10 units or 100 plus. Single family, small multifamily, short-term rentals, 2 to 4. Okay, great, great. This is awesome. All right, so I really understand the world that you're coming from, the headaches of the contractors, timelines, project management, finding your next deal, talking to people. Megan, goal is to buy my first single family this year in House Hack. I adore that. I believe in you. You can do it, and especially with this great community. Beardy Brandon from Bigger Pockets, he once had this Instagram reel that has stuck with me forever. And I'd like for you ladies to think about this. He once said, my business will move at the speed with which I meet with my team. And as someone who's been a part of a mastermind group and an educational group for many years, I can tell you that when I poured into the educational resources and the community around me, my business grew so much faster. So you guys are in a great space with some amazing information. And if you just stick with them and talk to these people and lean into them, you will be able to hit your goals. So thank you for that. All right, let's talk about the big 3 motivations. Liz mentioned predictive index. I mentioned culture index. Most personality assessments that you will do are based on this science called psychometrics, also known as behavioral analytics. So DISC, predictive index, culture index, Myers-Briggs, strength finders, they're based in this science. And what it does is it is a statistical empirical way to figure out how you show up relative to the rest of the population. So think about that. How do you show up relative to the rest of the population? And what we believe a culture index is that 3 of your 4 primary traits are your main motivational traits. And the 4th trait is the way in which you prefer to work. Okay. And so what we do is we give this survey out and it will measure in them how strong is, I call them sharks, sunshine, and shepherds, because this is an easy thing to remember. I'm trying to move so you can see my delightful little shepherd down there. Sharks, sunshines, and shepherds. And the way that this works is some people are motivated by winning. Those are going to be your sharks. They want control of their destiny. They want to know where they are going at all times. They are going to be the people that are really, if you ask them, what is their goals in 3 to 5 years, they'll be able to tell you like that. If you ask them what happened yesterday, they probably don't know. But they know where they're going and they are going to take control. These are the people who you're going to see in a meeting. They're going to step up to the front of the room. They are going to take command of the space. They are going to drive the conversation. They are going to drive the solution that gets chosen by a group of people. Those are going to be your sharks. So I want you to think, as I'm going through this, which one you personally identify with. You can always take the survey I showed on the first slide, and I can tell you afterwards definitively which one is yours, because sometimes you might have two of these show up and which one is your primary one. But that's what a shark is. The second one is sunshine. Sunshine is motivated by strong relationships. These people are natural influencers and persuaders. They are optimistic, they are friendly, they are outgoing. They will drive growth in business through their relationship. So if you think you're a sunshine, I'd like to see you drop that in a comment. Like if you're like, yep, that is me. My network is vast. Nobody can beat it. When I walk into a room, I get to know everybody. I can read the room very quickly. I know who's friends with who's having a bad day, who's having a good day, who needs to be talked to. I'll pull people into the conversation. I'll make connections. You're my sunshines. By the way, my sharks in the room, you are the ones who like walk in, you see the problems, and you just start going asking very tactical questions so you can get a solution so that you can move on. Okay. So those are my sharks. Feel free to drop a shark in the chat if you think that that's you. It'll be fun to play the game afterwards to see where you really come out. And then finally, we've got my shepherds. My shepherds are driven by knowledge and perfection. These are people who will make sure that everything gets done exactly the way that it is supposed to get done. Okay. So they are detail oriented, they are accurate, they are precise, they are the follow up and the follow through in an organization. If you think that you're a shepherd, go ahead and drop that in there as well. And sometimes I will have people say, well, I think I'm a shark, or maybe I'm a shepherd. I'm not sure. And so here's what I would say. You can be a friendly shark or a friendly shepherd or an aggressive shepherd, right? Where you have a leading trait and then you have one that follows closely behind it. So if you think that maybe you're torn between being a shark and a shepherd, here's what I would ask you. Yes, you want to win, right? If that is the primary motivation of sharks. It's more of like a selfish, like here is my goal and I am going to achieve my goals. It's also like a laser focus on goal achievement. If you are willing to bend the rules a little bit in order to achieve your goals, then you are probably more shark than shepherd. If you would never knowingly break a rule in order to achieve your goals, then you are probably more shepherd than shark. All right. Anybody, feel free to drop it in the chats if you feel like I'm Miami Heat sunshine. Nice, Nicole. I love that. Shark with shepherd tendencies, Tiana. Fantastic. So a shepherd, Becky. Yep. I understand that and probably resonated, right? Got lots of shepherds in here. Got some sunshines. Love it. Sunshiny shark. Friendly shark, sunshiny shark. I like it. Shiny shark. Can't say that 10 times fast. So what we do is we start with what our main motivational trait is. And then once we know that, we can better leverage our skills out in the world. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story here about why it's important to know both your skills and the skills of people around you and how these motivations show up differently in a workplace. I think that stories stick. So this picture here, this is my good friend Bethany. She started with me as a remote project manager. I found her on a site. Here's a little tip. It's called hiremymom.com. And it is a site for stay-at-home moms who are looking for part-time work to fill their days. It's a great place to find some remote talent that, for just a couple hours a day, that's not looking for full-time. They just want something to keep their brains busy, and they can have a lot of skills that you can get for really a discounted rate. Fantastic. Win-win all around. So this is Bethany. I found her on hiremymom.com, and she was my project management assistant helping me run my rehabs. Great. She's a phenomenal person. I am a friendly shark. I live very much in the future. I want to win with a team. Like I love people, but I'm really focused on hitting my goals with an amazing team beside me. And I'm definitely not a shepherd. I can build a process, but if you make me run the process day to day, it will not go well. So I brought Bethany in. I had built this amazing rehabbing process, a sauna checklist, like miles long with every single step that we needed to do, but I wasn't going to be the person running it. So I brought Bethany in, and she is a shepherd. She's a friendly shepherd. So, right, we have that in common. We work well together. We enjoy sharing good conversation, but I bring the strategy and the growth and the vision, and she brings the execution to the table. I was working with my culture index advisor at the time because I was a client before I came on board here. And he held up her profile and he held up my profile and he said, "You are always going to under communicate to her." she's a shepherd, you're a shark, and you don't have any shepherd tendencies. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And he said, you're going to say to her, let's use the conference, right? You're going to say to her, Bethany, I heard about this amazing conference. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to go to it. It's in Austin. I think it's in June. It's going to be for a couple days. It's going to be fantastic. Make sure you block out your calendar. We're going to go and learn some really great stuff, right? We are going to use this knowledge to blow up our business. That is not enough information for a shepherd. And all my shepherds out there, I hope you're laughing about this. She is going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. What are the exact dates? Are we flying in a day before or a day after? What time is our flight? What airline are we flying on? Is it a nonstop? Do you need me to book the tickets or are you going to book the tickets? What hotel are we staying in? Do you need me to book the tickets or are you going to book the tickets? What are we going to learn at this? Who are the people we're going to meet? How long is the conference going to run from start to finish? And what are you going to expect from me afterwards? Like, do I need to take notes? Am I going to have to do something afterwards or am I just going to learn, right? Do you see how those are two vastly different ways of viewing the world? Oh yeah, I just heard my inner shepherd, Laura says. I don't even think about all the details. All I think about is here are the big picture milestones that we need to hit. But if left to my own devices, and I know a lot of other real estate investors who are like that, who are even less shepherd-like than I am, they will book the wrong day. They will fly in the wrong day for the event. They don't even know what's happening. They will not have done any of their pre-work. And they could get so much more out of the event if they had someone like Bethany at their side, making sure that everything got buttoned up. And so I need to learn as a leader, number one, where are my weaknesses that I need to hire people on my team to complement me? And number two, how do I communicate effectively with them to get the most out of that relationship? Because at the end of the day, like I said, this is a business and the purpose of a business is to make money. So if I am going to spend money on people, whether they're an assistant or a contractor or a lawyer or a engineer, I need to be able to make money off of their services. And if I don't know how to communicate with them effectively, and I don't even know what I need to be effective, then I am not going to make money. And that is a bad place to be in business. So that's my personal story. Now you might be thinking to yourself, like, oh, I'm a shepherd and I don't know if I can run a business. I don't know if I have it in my wheelhouse. Well, I'm going to show you that each of you has what it takes to run a successful business. Does anybody know who this is? Drop it in the chat. Tried to give lots of leading clues. Elon, my man, Elon. Elon Musk, SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Group, the battery company. This is one of his quotes that I thought so accurately describes him as a shark. Remember that sharks live in the future. They set big goals, and that is completely what they're focused on. So he said, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that incredibly depressing. This man lives in the future. He has started so many businesses, and all of them are built around these crazy ideas that he thinks he can bring to fruition. Elon's a shark. I think we can all agree that he runs successful businesses. Despite whatever you might think of him personally, the man has really built an empire. Okay. So that's for all my sharks out there. Does anybody know who this is? Give you a minute to see if you can drop it in the chat. No. Bob Iger, very close. This is Bob Iger. Bob Iger is the Walt Disney CEO. Very good. Mickey Mouse, also a correct answer. Also sunshine, right? Bob Iger, he wrote this phenomenal book. It's called Ride of a Lifetime. And he was the president of Disney for about 20 years, I think, give or take. Remember, I'm not a shepherd, so really getting into the details is not my strong suit. But he built Disney, and he built this company that is, remember that sunshines are very relationship driven, strong relationships, experience. Anybody who's ever been to Disney knows that it is an amazing experience. Did you know that there are trash cans like every 12 feet? I learned this from Bethany, by the way, who's a huge Disney fan. There are trash cans every 12 feet because they want to make sure that there's no trash on the ground, because if there were trash on the ground, it would ruin the experience for you. And so every little detail is built around this experience and this feeling. They're not allowed to point at you. Definitely not with one finger. They can point with two fingers and they have to point to the side. Again, all of this is built towards an experience and relationships, like building relationships. His quote that I loved was, "What I've really learned over time is that optimism is a very, very important part of leadership. Sunshines are optimistic." Yeah, if anyone is crying or in trouble, cast members will rush to you to help, right? I mean, it is just the friendliest place on earth, right? Optimism and sunshines go hand in hand, and that is their gift. They lead by inspiring and influencing the people around them. So my sunshines, you also can build a successful business. Does anybody know who this is? Give it a minute here. Warren. Yes, very good. Warren Buffett. Okay. Warren is a shepherd. He is 100% a shepherd. Shepherds believe that to build a successful business, you should mitigate risk as much as possible. The way that you mitigate risk is through knowledge and processes. His quote here, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." This is the shepherd approach to life. I am going to remove risk by gaining knowledge. Okay, so you're in the right place right now because you are gaining some knowledge, and that's amazing. And I think we can all agree that Warren Buffett has built an amazing business. So you too are capable of building an amazing business. The caveat I want to make to that is when you're in rooms like this, there is a tendency to see and hear the successes that everybody else has been making and to start to doubt yourself and to wish that you could just be more like Liz. You could just be more like Andresa. But being a good leader and running a good organization starts with seeing yourself clearly and embracing your gifts, okay? Because they are the key to your success. They always have been, and they are going to be the key to unlocking success in the future. So whether you are a shark or a sunshine or a shepherd, don't wish that you were someone else. I don't think that you should come to work. My advisor told me this once. He said, having people play to their not strengths, so their weaknesses, coming in and telling people that they just need to get better in the areas that they're weak is like asking somebody to come to work every day and write with their non-dominant hand. The quality of work is going to be less. The mental effort it's going to take is going to be more, and they're just not going to enjoy it. Self-acceptance is the greatest form of self-love, SL says, and I agree with that. So maybe this is your takeaway for today, is that you are enough to create a great real estate business, but you're going to do it your way. And you're going to learn from all the other people in this group, and it's going to be amazing. But your journey is going to look slightly different than theirs because you have different gifts. All right. That's my second point. I have heard this quote so many times, and every time I hear it, I think, yes, 100%, because sometimes I have wanted to go fast. And I know that when I want to go fast, I do have to go alone. You are welcome, Emma. I'm glad that that was my 1% then for the day. If you want to go fast, go alone. And that's where a lot of us start in our businesses. Like, I'm just going to do this. I'll do all the things. I'll get all the knowledge. I'll make it happen. And you feel it's a very heavy weight, but it's true. You don't have to look to anybody else for decisions. You don't have to follow up to see if it's getting done. You're getting it done. But if you want to go far, if you want to build a sustainable business, then you have to go together. And you need to put people on your team that can help you out. Part of those people is going to be this amazing investor community. Keep pouring into it. And then part of them are going to be, yes, I'll go right back. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Oh boy, you're asking me to remember before that. This one. I'll just put it up. Leadership starts with seeing yourself clearly and embracing it. Your gifts are and always have been the key to your success. All right, good. Thanks, guys, for letting me humor Nicole there for a minute. So let's talk about building your team. Hopefully by this point, you clearly know what your strength is, what you bring to the table and how you win. If you're a shark, it is going to be through vision and strategy and growth and really focusing on your goals and then finding the right data and pieces of the puzzle to put together in your strategy. If you're a sunshine, you are going to win through strong relationships and pouring into the people around you. And if you're a shepherd, you are going to win by mitigating risk, by gaining as much knowledge as you can. That is not to say there's a point where you have to make a decision to move forward, where you have gained enough knowledge and it is time to go. And that's best determined in a conversation one-on-one with another real estate investor right here. You too. Yes. I will put my contact information in the end of this, and you guys can reach out to me if you would like to take the survey, and I'll shoot you the link. So let's talk about building a team. You guys are in real estate, so we're generally going to have some standard people on our team. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are building to complement our skill sets. So the first slide up here, you've got admin side of the house, someone to help you on the back end, whether that's with organizing your project management or checking in with contractors or ordering materials, that kind of stuff. Who do you think excels best on your team internally? What are the people that you need to put around you? You can drop this in the chat. It's a little quiz. And by the way, there's no right or wrong answer, because you might say, I have this, I'm very dominant in this motivational trait, and I need the other ones. Nicole says she needs shepherds. Okay. It's a good one. Anybody else want to weigh in? Who else might you want on your team? Let's talk about sales. Who might you want for sales? Right? We've got some sunshine, great relational sellers, sunshines, right? Man, who can manage my calendar and remind me? Yes, those are shepherds. Those are shepherds. All right, let's move into the contractor side of the house. Who do you think is best going to be there? What motivational traits will drive someone who excels at contracting work? Any ideas? Shepherds? Sharks? Why do you think sharks? I would agree with both of these, by the way. Shepherds, definitely, right? They're going to do quality work. These are your craftsmen. These will really button everything up behind them. But I agree also with sharks. Why do you think you might need sharks on your construction team? Need to get to the goal, right? Good project managers always have a little bit of shark in them because they are driven to hit a goal. That is what motivates them. So if it's one of the best profiles that we see in the project management space, tends to be a shepherd with a little bit of shark, an aggressive shepherd, right? Okay, what about your lawyers and your finance partners? Let's start with the lawyers. Who do you want on your legal team? Sunshine, sharks, shepherds. Sharks and shepherds, I'm hearing, right? Now, you might be out at a networking event and meet a really friendly lawyer who's like, I've got it. I know all the things. This will be amazing. My network is vast. Is that really who you want handling your legal stuff? As someone who's currently in the middle of 2 legal battles with stupid tenants, I'm going to say no. I don't want sunshines. I can be sunshine if that's what's needed. I need a shark or a shepherd, preferably someone with a little bit of both. And I'm not really particular on the mixture. What about on your finance team? And on finance team, I mean people who are going to lend you money, like private money lenders. Do we think sharks, shepherds, or sunshine? Shepherds, okay. Shepherds and sunshine. I like it. Shepherds and sunshine. Very good. Would a shark take advantage of me? They would try. They're going to be very tough negotiators. But the upside to a shark is they also understand risk very well. So if something goes wrong, they're not going to be happy about it because you're not helping them hit their goals, but they also are very good at weighing risk and accepting it. So here's what I came up with, and this is not definitive. I can see ways that everybody could succeed in these, but I think for me, I would probably want on my internal team people with some sunshine to help build relationships and networking. These are great marketing and relational sales, and some shepherds to make sure that the details get buttoned up, that my calendar gets scheduled and my emails get answered and all that good stuff. On my contracting team, I don't really want friendly. I mean, they can be a friendly shark or a friendly shepherd, but I don't want that to be their main motivational trait. I want their main motivational trait to be either to get it done now or to get it done really well, depending on what the work is that they're doing. And then on my finance team, I said sharks for lawyers, sharks and shepherds for lawyers. And then on finance, I do think sunshine's good because these are the people, they're optimistic, they're influential. So for your private money lenders, these are the people who, if you do a really good job with them, they will go and drum up business for you with other people. They'll talk to their friends about what a great investment they made with you. So I would put sunshines on there too. All right, was this helpful? Quick show. You can either emoji me or drop something in the comment. Did this help anybody? Excellent. Okay. So then the question becomes, all right, Becca, I don't have access to this personality profiling tool that you spoke of. How can I know what people are? And so this is my take on that. So often we enter into conversations and we want to communicate, and communication is actually sending and receiving. A friend of mine told me this once. Communication is sending and receiving. Often we focus on the sending and not on the receiving. So what I want you to do when you go into conversations is listen to hear what the other person is saying and listen between the lines about their motivations. Don't just respond, because great conversations happen when you're paying close attention. And if you know what we do with our clients, we teach them how to use this data to better engage their employees so that they can get what they want, which means you're going to have to modify your behaviors. But as the leader, you can modify your behaviors to match their motivation, and you can make more money. And remember, that is what we're trying to do in this business, is make money. Or before I hit this one, let me just go a little bit more in depth. So here's how you know what someone is if you're in a conversation with them. I'm going to give you a couple hacks. Sharks, right? You're in a conversation with someone. We'll start with sunshines, actually, because that's the easy one. So I'll start with there, and then I'll say, like, here's your levels of conversation to figure out what people's motivations are. Sunshines, you go into the conversation and you ask them, how are you? How's your day going? And then you just listen. And sunshines will tell you all the things and everything, how their day's going, how their dog is, what's going on in the world. And then they're going to be very interested in your life. And they're going to turn on and be like, how is your day going? So you are looking for these people who just, it seems effortless to talk to them. And generally they are going to talk quite a bit. That's a good litmus test for sunshines. All right, so let's say we've gotten through that and I say, how are you? How's your day going? And they say, it's fine. Could be better. Not a sunshine. Okay, we can rule that out. Not a sunshine. So then I'm going to move into trying to discern whether they are a shark or a shepherd from their motivational standpoint. And this can be kind of tricky. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to start with the sharks, and you're going to say, now I've asked how your day's going, and they're like, fine. Or maybe they were friendly, but they stopped talking after a little bit. Now you're going to say, what are your future goals? What are you most excited about in the next 3 years? And a shark will be able to tell you very clearly what their goals are and what they are excited about. They live in the future. They are strategic, okay? They do not really care. Like true sharks do not care about what's happening today. They are so future oriented. Then let's say, well, I have a 3-year goal. And they give it to you. So this goes back to that project manager where it's the aggressive shepherds, right? They have some shark in them, but they're really more shepherd than not. The next question I'm going to ask, if they can't tell me their future goals, or if they're like, I don't know, I have so much stuff to get done today, I can't even think about 3 years from now. Then you could say, what's on your plate today? What things do you have to get done? What's on your task list or your priorities? A shepherd will be able to tell you probably 20 things that they have running in their head that they must get done today. They feel a strong sense of urgency that it needs to be done, all of it now. If you ask them to ask you follow-up questions or for details on stuff, shepherds will be able to give you extreme levels of details. So that is how I recommend, if you don't have access to a tool like this, and you're not gonna be able to get it to them, like, right, you're not gonna get your contractor or your painter to take this survey the first time you meet them to give you a bid. But these are ways you can do. Start with the sunshine. They're the easiest. They're the friendly, outgoing, optimistic, persuasive people that just effortlessly connect. Move on to the sharks. They spend most of their time thinking in the future about what their goals are, not today. Shepherds spend a lot of their time thinking specifically, finitely, tactically on what needs to get done right now. Does that help? Emojis, chat boxes. Yeah, good. All right, it's 2:44. Liz, I left some time.
Awesome. I love it. And we got some Q&A. That was great. That was awesome. I think what you just said was very powerful. I don't think people stop enough to listen to people and to listen with the perspective that what personality type might they be, and, how do I then respond, right? Or adapt or fill in the blank. Just by the listening, Becca, people would go so much further, right? I think people are just get into their own little worlds. So I just want to say that. All right, let's get to some questions here. Oh, this was some people were sharing what they were. These were okay. Callie.
I didn't want to make you cry. I meant for you to be seen, to feel seen and like you have true value.
Well, that's important, right? It's always it's interesting. Just a really quick story. I love doing these webinars and what we're creating. And I know you have such a passion for it, Becca, but women feel heard and seen because women are literally holding it all together for everyone and everything else. That's the reality,
Yeah.
to be very frank and straight with everyone. And this is a safe space for women to kind of, right?
The mom company was hiremymom.com.
Yep.
It's not very fancy, or it wasn't when I was using it, but it did the job well. Liz, actually, you talk about that. I feel like I've seen a lot on social media about this idea of the mental load that women carry.
Yep.
And it really resonates. I try not to be a martyr about it because I'm like, my husband is my rock. He's amazing. But he's made the point that where like, I will care about things and I'll be like, no one asked you to care about that.
Sure.
Like, and it's fair. Half the time it's mean, half the time it's fair.
I would also suggest, it's a really good point. I would also suggest Chatterboss. A lot of women in our community have worked with them. They also help source VAs. They were at our InvestorCon last year. And a lot of women, we've used them as well. The key with any platform, right, is to really know what you're looking for, know your non-negotiables. We talk about like having a deal criteria, right? We know where we want to buy, type of property, what kind of NOI we're looking for. You got to also have like a VA buy box. They're not all created equal. What are your non-negotiables? What are the things you're looking for? So, and I've used Hire My Mom as well. Had a lot of success with that too. So those are a couple suggestions as well. Chatterboss,
Any
is
more
that what we
VA
just done?
platforms?
Yes, Chatterboss, correct.
I'm drawing a complete blank and I know of at least 3 other ones.
Yeah, I am as well. How do you identify? Okay, Callie, you're also asking, how do you identify the tipping point when it's right to outsource some tasks in your small business when the time savings will outweigh the costs of hiring? That's a great question. I would love to hear your perspective on that, Becca, and I can share like a
Yeah.
tip.
I remember the other one. I was thinking there's one called hiretrainva.com. So there's a couple things, right? And there's a lot of maturity that Liz and I have gained the hard way when it comes to hiring. And number one, you should have the money for it. Like you should be saving money up. I personally believe that if you're going to hire someone, you should have 3 to 6 months of their pay set aside before you hire them. Because if you don't, what happens is you bring them in and you put this unrealistic pressure on them to perform. And studies, the Society of Human Resources and Management has shown it takes 90 days to fully on-ramp an employee. They're usually only about 25% effective the first 30 days. Then they ramp up to 50 to 75 the next 60. And then they're not fully like, you're not getting the ROI out of them until around the 90-day point. And that's assuming that you have a good onboarding process, an intentional onboarding. So if you think I'm going to hire this person and they're going to make me a return on my money in 30 or 60 days, and you don't have the money set aside for them, you're not going to give them enough time to get up to speed. Does that help?
That's a great point. two things I wanted to share, because I think for me, I was raised so frugally, such in a frugal household, and I'm so appreciative of that in so many ways. And it also impacted my growth as an entrepreneur,
Mm,
because for so many years, my husband and I did everything. And I just shared this on a mini-sode, or I don't know where I shared it, but we got to the point where I was doing all of our bookkeeping. And anyone that knows me knows that I should not be doing bookkeeping. I'm not qualified to do bookkeeping, and I'm certainly not. Well, who would that be? A shepherd? Who would that be?
yes,
Becca. Yeah.
definitely a shepherd.
I'm a, what was it called? Sunshine. I'm more of the sunshine. So you do not want sunshines doing your bookkeeping. But anyway, I want to just share something. So for us, we had a portfolio. Me and my husband, we were growing our portfolio. I had just quit my job. We were living off my savings. Money was really tight, really tight. And we got to the point where I had actually missed two mortgages in a row. And it was a big deal, right? You can't miss your mortgage. We had the money to pay it, but I missed it.
Mm,
And my husband got the call and he's like, this isn't working. He's like, you're
mhm.
not good at it. And quite honestly, you should be helping us look for new deals. You're great
Yeah.
at that. You're great at building relationships. And here I was, someone who actually knew this about myself, but I was still just, I gotta do it all. And I think
Mhm,
we do that at a detriment. So we actually hired someone for $200 a month, and
mhm.
it felt like we were paying her literally 20 grand a month. That's what it felt like. So and I don't say $200 is a lot, a little, but that $200 then bought me the time, and I actually created more value from that because I was able to find our next deal, which definitely made us more than $200 a month.
Yeah,
So that's how you have to think of it, as it's hard because you're playing with your own money personality and your money blueprint, which comes out on for
yeah.
so many people. It's real, but you have to keep that in check and also say, okay, what is this $200 investment going to give me? How do I get 10 times that? And how do I use my time better? Even if you're actually good at bookkeeping, I don't think people who are growing their portfolio should be doing their own bookkeeping. I don't think you should be hiring that out. It's
No.
probably one of the best people to hire out. And I have a resource for you on that too. And
Yeah, I am gonna second, third, and fourth that your bookkeeping should be hired out as soon as you possibly can. That's like the first thing you should offload because that doesn't help you make money and it also protects the money that you are making.
um,
What's
there
the
are,
resource, Liz?
yes, I do have a resource. I'm like, if you need a resource for anything, I probably have it. It's just like the way I am. I'm going to put it in the chat box for
Okay.
everybody. But there's two folks. We just had a master class on this. It's a online banking relay has been really helpful because it streamlines your banking coupled
Mhm.
with the bookkeeping. It's kind of like this prong process, and we're using that. So I'm going to put both resources here. But let's get another question here. I'm curious, Becca, to get your perspective. As people are embarking on this, as they're built, if they're saying, okay, what should I outsource first? I know I need to outsource something, right?
Mhm.
Personally, professionally. I mean, we literally can make I continually make lists. Um, where does everyone start? Like, how do they start embarking on, where's like the lowest hanging fruit? What would you suggest as a tool that they can do, or a question they can ask themselves, or is it a
Yeah.
time diary that they need to keep? But why do they move the needle from hiring someone even part-time or a few hours to literally what is overwhelming them today? So personally, professionally, what would be like something that they can do literally in the next week to help them move the needle for clarity?
I would identify first what your main motivation is. Like and then once you know that, like shepherds, what are you really good at? What are the things that you like doing and you spend time doing? What do you not like doing? Now, an unfriendly shepherd is going to say like, I hate networking and finding deals, but that's because you're probably seeing the way other people do it. I know some unfriendly shepherds who are phenomenal at acquiring deals. They just go at it a much more analytical, numbers driven way, more B2B sale. Um, but if you know somebody, sunshines tend to not be great shepherds, like the best, most outgoing people, but they can create a phenomenal community around them. So I would look for people who either partner, like to complement, and I don't know investors' stance on like partnering when you're starting out, but I have seen that work really well when you have somebody who's really good at running the project management and the details. partnering up with someone who's more like sunshine and out there and going and making deals happen, like you said, Liz. Or if you're a sunshine person, looked into a VA to help with the admin stuff. I got the best advice from a webinar put on by, I don't really remember who put it on, but it was a VA company. And they were like, when you're looking to hire an executive assistant, the best thing you can do, especially if they're virtual, is to make sure that you spend 20 minutes with them every single day. Because a good executive assistant or a good assistant is a shepherd, and they're trying to do things right. But the only way that they can know what the right way to do things is by actually learning from you and the questions that come up. And I have seen people fail. They bring an assistant on, they don't spend enough time giving them the knowledge, right? You brought a shepherd on, you have to make space for them to acquire the knowledge that's blocked in your brain.
I love that. That's really good perspective.
It
Are
wasn't mine. I
Sunshine's
got it from somebody else, so I'm just pushing it over.
is Sunshine's really bad at multitasking?
It depends on their C trait, right? Their face.
Okay. Should have checked. Okay.
That's the other
Yes.
trait. So
I'm
that was some
like,
inside
hold on.
speak to
I'm
Liz,
listening to what
sorry.
you're saying, and I'm also trying to get folks what I told them I would get them. Okay. So I just put in there bookkeeper that we're working with. Her name's Randy. She has a whole team focused literally on real estate predominantly, which I really like. And I also put in Relay. That's the online banker along. It's like they're two separate resources, but we've been working with them hand in hand. And Relay's been helping us streamline all of our banking, which has been huge. We moved it away from a community bank, and Randy, I was introduced to Randy through Relay. So they're working really nicely together. So I wanted to share those two resources and folks that are super into supporting women in this business, which is important.
Can I respond to Corinna's comment right there?
Please. Yeah, go for it.
Corinna said, as a shepherd, I feel like I may never take action because I don't have enough knowledge. I need a shark partner. The only thing I would say is that, I've seen shepherds build some very successful, amazing businesses. They're often the people you see building like HVAC or electrical businesses where they get really good at a trade, and then they slowly scale their trade, and they build these just really solid businesses over time. And so, Corinna, I would challenge you to think about, like, when you're building your business, do you really need to blow it up right now? Like, do you need a shark partner? Because if you bring on a partner, number one, especially a shark partner, they are going to assert their will over yours for what this business looks like. So just be careful with that, and like really think about the business you want to build and how it'll grow, because you can build it.
I think that's a really good perspective. The other thing that I would say I wanted to add color to, and who said that? Corinna. Yeah. The other way to think of it too is that, you don't necessarily need a 50-50 partner, but you might need like an energy for a certain area of your business. Like right now, I mean, if you said, who do you need? Do you need multiple tools in your toolkit to find really good deals? The answer is absolutely, right? We're in a time where, I don't know about you, but like literally it's not like, oh, I have 17 amazing deals to pick from right now. Not most people. Now, I'm not saying people aren't finding great deals, but you need multiple strategies. You need more aggressive energy, if you will, that would really help. So you can also think of it as like, okay, what do I need to focus on in my business, and what type of energy, personality do I need? Because if you are someone who's not necessarily aggressive, aggressiveness or a level of assertiveness, I would believe is needed right now in the economy we're in, and finding really good deals. That's just the reality.
Agreed.
So that's
I'd bring a shark on as a salesperson, to be aggressive and get out there and hunt for deals. I don't know that I bring them on as a partner, Corinna, because then they're going to exert their will over your business instead of them. Like you bring on a shark salesperson and you just say, you have to close 3, for every 5 leads I give you off my marketing, you need to close 1. That's your goal. Go make it happen. And I'm going to handle all the rest of the business.
Yeah. And start small. We have so many we have for anyone considering partnering, we have a freebie guide, really, really helpful guide.
Ooh,
like
nice.
Questions to ask yourself, no strings attached. Just, I think it's the realestateinvesther.com freebie. Well, literally it's just and you'll get it to your inbox. Really, really powerful. It's a lot when you're partnering, right, Becca? And not to deter anyone, but you really have to do the due diligence on everything when you're considering it. Just be mindful. As we wrap up here, I'd love to hear in the chat box one thing that you what your one takeaway and what one action are you going to take? I love to end every webinar with that. One thing you learned, like Becca was saying, the 1%, right? The one thing, I love that. I love that book too. Phenomenal book, The One Thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing you learned and the one thing, one action step you're going to do, because that is the purpose of these webinars, that you literally take one step, moving the needle. We don't talk about like, can't build Rome in a day. You know, there's so many things that I want to do and I'm like overly ambitious, but I always celebrate like, what one thing did I do to move the needle, right? In empowering women today. And that makes me feel good because I want to do it all in one day. We just can't. So I'd love to hear that in the chat box and what landed for you. Nicole, hey, Nicole, one of our Strive members. What did you say, Miss Nicole? You said, figure out our attributes, and I need my most immediate team members. Yeah, what you're lacking, not what you're lacking because you're amazing, but what your business needs right now. That's really the key, right, Becca?
Yes, agreed.
Find a bookkeeper. Seeing yourself clearly and embracing your gifts. Yes, Carol, you need to see that, my dear. Terry, find a bookkeeper first. Totally. All right, learning. Okay, cool. Learn to embrace my sunshine as a strength. I know, Lara, I'm with you. You know, sunshine sometimes can get a bad rap. Really nice people, but boundaries, Lara. Sunshine has problems with boundaries, not problems. I'm a recovering servaholic, so I'm actually I'm doing well these days, trying to say no to people.
Right. It's wisdom. We gain wisdom on this journey.
Very cool. Any last thoughts, Miss Becca, before we wrap here?
No, yes, you all have what it takes to build a successful business. It's not going to look like the person next to you, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error. And the people who make successful businesses are the ones who stick with it.
True. I love it. Everyone, I would love to hear your follow-up conversations. Becca is actually quite active in our Facebook community. She's been that way for a while. Tag her, you reach out to her, take the index, get more insight into yourself. So as you grow, you complement your strengths and you don't hit up against the wall. And when you do hit up against the wall, you know why, and you know how to mitigate it. So Becca, thanks so much for being on today and sharing all your wisdom. And thank you all for being on. We don't take that lightly. We're here to serve you in every way possible, and keeping the needle moving in your financial freedom goals. So we're here for you. Please keep the conversation going in our Facebook community, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Have a great day.